Final speaker of the day attended Oberlin College in Ohio and is a candidate for the Toastmasters Heisman Award. Here to share us with speech number 4 from the Entertaining Speaker Manual is a 5 to 7 minute speech entitled Dinner at Monica's. Please welcome Robin Walker.
You have a picture of the portion there? Most of you know me pretty well at this point. You see me speak up here every week. You know a couple of things about me. I like to talk, I like to cook, and I have a certain proclivity for showing off. That combination can get you into trouble occasionally. A lot of you also know Monica, who's been a member here when she's not off saving the world at the United Nations. Monica and I worked together in Washington, D.C., and she moved to Monterey about a month before I did here to go to school at MISS. And when I landed here, I had no place to go, and she let me stay on her couch for a couple of weeks while I looked for my own place. Once I got my own place and unpacked all my kitchen utensils, I was looking for a way to thank her, and Monica and I were hanging out on a Saturday, and she mentioned that her parents were coming to town that evening. I have a special weakness and a fondness for watching the Food Network. And one of my favorite programs on the Food Network is by a guy named Alton Brown called Good Eats. It's a great show. And I recently watched one of his shows where he described how you can buy large cuts of meat at a superstore, butcher it yourself, and save a lot of money on some really expensive cuts of meat. And he showed some great recipes. And I told Monica about this, and I said, Monica, how about I cook some nice filet mignon for you and your parents tonight? And she thought this was a great idea, so we drove over to Costco, picked out about a 15-pound chunk of beef, hauling it around and shoulder, a couple other odds and ends. Go back to her house, her parents arrive. They asked me if I meet them for the first time. They like me, I'm a pretty nice guy. Asked me if they need any help. I say, no, I want to show off, I want to do this myself. I'm pulling out my knives, I'm sharpening them up. They sit down on the couch, watching a movie, Dad's sitting there drinking a beer. The butchering goes great. Slice into it. Pretty soon, 20 minutes later, I have 4 2-inch thick filet mignon, most beautiful steak you've ever seen, for a tenth the price you'd get if you bought the steak by themselves. I'm sitting there, I crush up the black pepper, I encrust each steak on both sides with black peppercorn, put my nice cast iron pan on the stove, turn the flame on high, it's almost smoking in there, put each steak in there. The fumes just well up, these beautiful smell, it's just getting crusted on the bottom of the steak. The whole place fills with this wonderful smell of cooking steak, which I'm sure everybody knows, the instant the steak hits the pan, except for you vegetarians. The instant the steak hits the pan, it's a beautiful smell. I'm getting all kinds of compliments from the next room. It is a little smoky though, so we open the window. Comes the next point in the recipe. I don't know if you ever notice on these TV cooking shows, it's in a studio. They have a kitchen top, these nice 12-foot ceilings. Monica's kitchen did not have 12-foot ceilings. And the next step in cooking was to deglaze the pan with about a cup of brandy. This is the best part, I mean, the most exciting part. I call her family and say, hey, check this out, this is the coolest part. Pour the brandy in, pull my head to the side because I once burned my eyebrows off with relighting a barbecue. Pull my head to the side and light it. Whoosh! Go the blue flames. I thought it was pretty cool. I was standing there admiring my handiwork. Everyone in there is oohing and eyeing. And the flames weren't going down quite as fast as they were when Alton Brown was doing it. And Monica's dad started to get concerned. I saw his face turn in slow motion from awed admiration of my cooking skills to mild concern to panic. He sprang from the couch and approached the kitchen 2 long strides, not spilling a drop of his beer, which I was very impressed with later. Took a plate and covered up the frying pan, completely dousing the flames, right? No, because we're still flames. Apparently Monica's kitchen has a hood over it with a fan in the lid. And the flames had shot up enough that the blades of the fan had melted. Oh, God. And the melting plastic was on fire. But the steaks were nicely covered in the pan, so we were able to use the fire extinguisher to extinguish the fire in the hood. I finished took the lid off, the brandy was fine, added the cream sauce, made a nice brandy cream sauce for it. The parents were very impressed. The steaks were delicious. Somehow they were still talking to me after that. I thought that was it. As I was stood there with the smoke billowing everywhere, that was the perfect time for a dry, witty response that would reestablish myself as master of my domain and in command of the situation. But it just wouldn't come. No witty comment would fit that situation. I didn't see Monica's parents for about 6 months. I figured that was the end of it. But somehow, they still invited me to their house to cook tamales with them for their entire family. Maybe they were just waiting for the witty comeback 6 months later. Madam Toastmaster.
May I have a timer's report, please?